going on, all my gamers, all my Genshin gamers? So this just hit the newsfeed, chat. Now I need to talk about it because I want to, and because I am the face of Genshin Impact. So as the face, I gotta be the one out here talking. I will give you guys a warning. You might not like my stance on this, but you know, hey, chat, you might, I don't know. It depends on how you guys feel about this. If you guys really hate Genshin Impact, I mean, I'm sure you guys will not like what I have to say, but what really matters is that we need to get to the bottom of this, dude. So, Genshin Impact was just fined $20 million, or it is in the process of being fined $20 million by the FTC for their practices of selling loot boxes, quote unquote. I don't know. I don't see a box. Chat, if there's a loot box, why is there no box involved? So this is a proposed order that can go into effect if it is approved by a federal judge. If they do go through with this, Genshin Impact will be fined $20 million, which is probably, you know, half of what they make in a month. So I mean, they're probably gonna laugh at that. What really is important is what is being proposed that needs to be changed to Genshin Impact. So let's look at the first one. Prohibited from allowing children under 16 to purchase loot boxes in their video games without parents' affirmative express consent. Chat, this is basically like going on Fortnite and having to ask your parents before buying a skin, sort of, because when you buy a skin from, you know, games like that, so this isn't really attacking, how do you say, microtransactions, because when you buy a skin, you know what you're getting and you're getting that guaranteed. But with a gacha system, you know, you're not guaranteed to get what you want to get unless you do have a guarantee. But other than that, you know, you might have a 50-50. So here's the thing, right? Here is my position on something like this. I do agree, right? I do think that when you go and purchase these games, that if you are under the age of 18 or something like that, you're gonna have to hopefully it gives a warning, so you have to get your parents' permission to do this, because there's a bunch of stories of kids just using all their parents' savings, and you know, Hoyo probably can't give that back, because if they give that back, you know, it's gonna set a here's what people don't really think of. This is something, maybe it's just what I think of. I don't know why, but this is the first thing that I think of, is that if they do it for one person, if anyone's gonna get upset and be like, oh, I didn't really like my purchase or something like that, they're gonna complain to Hoyo or be like, oh, Hoyo, my mom is dying, I need my refund from my gacha pools where I didn't get mavuika. Now, you could say that they could just look into the matter, and then, you know, if they have the records, because, you know, hospitals hold records and stuff like that, they should give the money back and stuff like that. So there is a whole, you know, I can see both sides. But, you know, what really matters is having people under 16 not being able to, you know, buy and purchase stuff, which, if you guys know Genshin Impact in the audiences, there's probably a lot of 16-year-olds or stuff like that that like this game and still play it. This game is actually a pretty big, like, I feel like it has a big cultural impact on younger people. You know, when I go to like expos and stuff like that, and I go to the Genshin booth because I also have money I need to spend and give it to my favorite billion-dollar company, you see a lot of people that aren't they're not going to bars, chat. Let's just say that. They're kids out there, and it's like, man, this is these are the people that are spending money on this game. And I don't know. I don't think it's weird, but at the same time, it's like, probably, I hope they're not spending money. Because I'm always a free-to-play advocate. That's just me. But let's move on. Prohibited from selling loot boxes using virtual currency without providing an option for consumers to purchase them directly with real money. Now, I want this to not only happen to Genshin or any gacha game. I want this to happen across the board. Now, you can kind of calculate how much a skin or how much really a primo is worth by just, you know, using the number system and trying to, you know, pay money and stuff like that. So I think 60 primos is about $1, and so you kind of go from the math from there. You know, sometimes they have bonus deals and stuff like that, so it is kind of hard to say, but let's just say a character's about, I don't know, $300 or something like that. them putting that on a price tag to just outright buy them, I would like that. Now, I wouldn't pay $300 for it, but I honestly wouldn't mind this change because I would want to buy a character directly. I wouldn't want to just, have to gamble for them if I could just pay like $100 or something like that, which it probably wouldn't be $100. I don't even know what price tag they would put on a character because, people say it's like $300 for a character. I don't know. I think it's it would suck if they actually put it out for like $300, but I guess we wouldn't really know. Maybe like $100. It's kind of weird because then we're actually gonna see the price of a character. Anyways, let's move on. Prohibited from misrepresenting loot box odds, prices, and features. I don't think they do this. I think they're pretty clear how much the odds work and how the math works. Now, what they're not clear on is soft pity and stuff like that, and how much your odds are getting the further you go up, right? Like once you hit 70, which is soft pity on, I think Genshin soft pity is about 70 pulls. You don't know how much better your odds are getting and how much you're like losing, but like I think it's like 5. God, I don't even know off the top of my head because I haven't logged into Genshin today, so I don't really remember. I should have like checked back before this, but let's move on. So what your hard pity is at, and they give you a way to, count your pulls and stuff like that. So you kind of know what your odds are and how close you're getting to a character. I think they do show this, but I understand if they didn't even look into this. Of course, this is the U.S. government. I don't expect them to look into this. I don't expect them to understand what soft pity is, what hard pity is, what a guarantee is, and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't think they understand gacha. Anyways, move on. Required to delete personal information previously collected from children under 13 unless they obtain parental consent to retain such data. I don't really know what data they collect. I mean, they probably collect all the data, honestly. You see how much, you see the permissions that they have to have on your computer. I don't know. Sure. You know what? Why not? Anyways, required to comply with COPPA, including its notice and consent requirements. Now, this is all things that are being proposed. I don't really know how much the actual government really knows about gacha games. And here's my take on it, right? Here's what I have to say is I think a lot of these changes would be a positive for gacha in terms of like the consumer, because these games aren't gonna care about the consumer. Why would they? They're trying to make money here. You don't make $6 billion in a single game, mind you. This is just for Genshin. You don't make $6 billion if you care about disclosing all this stuff. The way that they are talking about how this is being marketed to kids, right? Because they're saying that this game is being marketed to kids. I don't think it's totally unfair to say that. I just don't know how much is actually being marketed to kids, but this is just something that I thought was really funny. The way that they're saying that it is being marketed to kids is they're using Klee, Chi-Chi, and Diona as referred to characters as the cute force. Man, yeah, those are totally marketed towards kids. I'm not getting into that. I really don't want to get into that. No, leave me alone. I'm not going into that. I just also thought this was like a funny thing. But let's look at what Doro had to say about this, right? Doro said, not to defend a multi-billion-dollar company, but aren't the gacha mechanics explained in game? Which I think they are. They're not explained when you download the game, but they are explained when you are in the game. They even give you probabilities and stuff like that in a math equation that I don't know because, I'm not good at math. But it does tell you if you're allowing your kids to spend money in a gacha game, that isn't just bad. That's just bad parenting. I'm not sorry. Man. I like what Braxton wanted to say. He said, parents are getting so shitty, the government had to step in. I honestly do think there is a, you can't just blame this on Genshin, of course, but you can, I blame it on the parents if your kid has access to your credit card. There's no way I don't blame you, because it's not like your kids are like demanding you give them their credit cards, and if they do, just tell them to fuck off. Why would you not? Like, why am I the one that has to say this? I don't know how your kids are getting your credit cards on their silly little iPads or iPhones. You probably shouldn't have connected your credit cards to begin with. My phone, I'm an adult. My phone doesn't even have my credit card attached to the marketplace. No, it is attached to my PayPal because I spent a lot of money in the game on, battle passes and stuff like that. Chat, I need the battle passes, okay? I'm running low on materials. Let's not worry about all that. Here's Gotcha Smack's take. Here's my take. The average 35% in the world has no earthly clue what a gacha game even is. The game also hides their gacha in the descriptions. I also, here's my thing, right? I'm for both. I think these games need to be more open with how they describe their, with the descriptions of their gacha mechanics and stuff like that. But I also do blame the parents. But let's move on to what he has to say. They don't even disclose a single loot box in any of their advertising, nor do they mention price points. The typical mom and dad is going to examine the 12-year-old rating game and examine descriptions as well as the cartoon visuals and go, this seems fine. This is deceptive and intentional by the companies because they know parents have no earthly fucking clue about mobile games because most parents don't play games, period, or understand the industry that we do. I completely agree with this. Mobile gaming this is kind of not even a recent time, but the popularity of this is recent in time. This is more of a COVID 2020 kind of explosion thing, right? Before that, mobile games were just kind of limited to weebs and stuff like that. The thing about Genshin Impact and why I understand that they're going over Genshin Impact first before like Kuro games or any other game like Zone Zero is the fact that this game had this is why this game will also never EOS or why there will never be a Genshin killer is this game had a cultural significance. This thing became a cultural impact, chat. I need you guys to understand it. When we were locked down in COVID, there wasn't Hunky Starbucks, there wasn't Zenless Zone Zero. So I can see it, Genshin Impact. I'm gonna be chat. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you, and you're not gonna like hearing this, or at least the Kuro bots aren't gonna like hearing this. Wuthering Waves just will never have the same kind of impact that Genshin Impact, the same kind of impact that Genshin Impact did. I don't know why I heard that wrong in my head, but that is right. Mainly because it doesn't have a pandemic that is leaving us locked indoors where we can find this stuff, right? When you're locked indoors, you can find this stuff, but when you're going out and about, you're moving around, out in the real world, you're not really gonna find things like this, or at least I don't think so, especially not in, in America where there is no advertising for this outside. You won't really find a Klee billboard down the highway. You'll find a Call of Duty one, or maybe even, I don't even know what other kind of game kind of billboard. Actually, I don't even know how many billboards are there for video games now that I think about it, but you're not going to find these things plastered all over the city. You have to find these things online. And when you're locked in online, you're going to have to, you're going to run across it eventually. Right? Anyways, let's move on. The kid gets addicted and runs into the price points, and how that unfolds is absolutely due to the lack of supervision. Regardless, these companies need to disclose their marketing and promotions that they are in fact gacha games that contain gambling elements, which falls in lack of regulation from the government. Parents would see in the description and say, no shot, my kid is playing this long overdue regulation indeed. I kind of agree. I do agree to a point because, like I said, they don't disclose this stuff, and Genshin Impact is kind of a, I'm not going to say it's marketed towards kids. I know people are saying that it is marketed towards kids. I don't think so. The reason why this game isn't more lewd is because this was when Hoyoverse was still in China, when they were MiHoYo. So this game had a lot more regulations to it in terms of censorship and stuff like that from the Chinese government. Nowadays, I think they're a little bit more free because they are in Singapore and they have have Hoyoverse. But would this game be more lewd outside and then the kids wouldn't find it? I don't know. I can't really tell you. But, let's move on. I think Gotcha Smack is correct, but I also think that the parents do have it is kind of on the parents' fault, and I do think Gotcha Smack is right at the same time. I think this is a situation where both can exist at the same time. The parents are at fault because how do they get a credit card? A credit card doesn't magically appear into their hands, but at the same time, this does look like something that would be marketed towards kids, right? All right, let's move on. Now here's Braxophone Montele for the Montele. Sorry, I love saying that. Anyways, it's parents' jobs to parent kids. There's no justifiable reason for gacha to exist in the first place other than to disguise gambling as a fun game. We should not normalize gambling up to 300 every 3 weeks for game content, and especially not to children. Gacha is predatory. I agree, of course. Chat. We're not going into these games. I don't know who. All right. If you are, then this is a wake up call for you. I don't know who is going into these games not knowing that these companies are predatory. I don't know why I can't even name anyone who doesn't know that these games are predatory. Maybe the kids, they don't understand. Sure, I will give you that. But like, I don't interact with kids. I don't know what they do. I know. Now I do have some younger people in my audience. And, you know, shout out to you guys. You know, I anyone who views my content, I'm very happy for. Anyways, these game companies are predatory, but, you know, what about NBA or, you know, the FIFA games? The FIFA game has terrible monetization. We have to buy that stuff to get your character leveled up. I think that's how they have it, like your own character or your teams and stuff like that. And parents are going to understand a FIFA game, right? So I feel like they will come across FIFA more than they're going to come across Genshin Impact. I think FIFA did have a lawsuit, but I don't know. And, you know, that's just what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, this is marketing gambling to kids, but everyone's marketing gambling to kids. Chat, do you know what's on Twitch, a 13 plus website? I don't know if it's stake, but sports gambling. Sports gambling is being marketed to kids. That's just what I'm saying. I think the only problem with this and why it is Genshin Impact, and I do agree with this as well. I agree with a lot of these points, and I feel like these points all can agree at the same time, is that I do think it is bad to normalize gambling, but everyone is normalizing gambling. So does that mean they shouldn't? Yeah, it does mean that they shouldn't, but I'm just saying that everyone is normalizing gambling. You know, I think the problem with this is that, you know, the kids aren't gonna know about sports betting, but they are gonna know what Klee looks like, you know, kids aren't gonna understand about betting on a Raven game, but they will understand about trying to get Yanlan a 4-star from a, you know, predatory gacha banner. That's just, you know, I guess there's those ways to look at it right here. Anyways, let's move on. Here's Hex Juice, you know, because Hex Juice has always talked about this. We miss you, Hex Juice. Please come back. Anyways, reminder that there's a reason that casinos are heavily regulated and don't allow minors at the door. Yes, parenting issues exist, but establishments should also be held accountable for taking advantage of minors. Did we forget that gacha is inherently predatory? I think this is probably my take on it. If you were to put my take into words, this is probably it. F them kids, but at the same time, you know, these companies are bad. That's just it. Anyways, here's Mr. Pokey's take. He says, to the people that are shitting on Doro, it's not a matter of whether the parents are aware of that these are gacha games, but how the hell are your kids getting access to your credit card? If my mom found out I swiped on her card when I'm 12 and getting beaten beyond recognition. That's true. That also happens to me, chat. That would have happened to me. How are your kids getting these credit cards, chat? Or not, I don't even know why I'm blaming chat. Chat, you guys don't do this. I'm just saying, but like the parents, how are your kids? Just don't add your credit card to your iPhone or to their device. Or if they're using your device, remove it. Surely when you get $100 charge, you're going to notice it, right? Or something like that. Plus, these companies, sometimes they'll call you if you spend too much on a gacha game. They're going to be like, oh, you know, your kids are spending your money, I guess. But I mean, sometimes parents are out and stuff like that, right? So you might do it when your kids aren't there. And if that's the case, sure, whatever. But I'm just saying that parents should be regulating what their kids are doing. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, let's move on to another thing. He says, ironic, Genshin got FTC's attention before unregulated casinos where kids literally gamble their lives away. And he's talking about CSGO. Federal Trade Commission settles owner of CSGO Lotto. Neither owner of the CSGO skin gambling site will face fine violating the U.S. government Federal Trade Commission. Ooh. I feel like the thing about this is that I think CSGO is rated M, and that's why they kind of get away with it, but that's just that's just what I would think. I don't actually know because I've never looked into this case, but I did say that, you know, other games are being, you know, how do you say it? They were being targeted by the FTC. I don't really know how this case went. I would have to look into it to actually know how this is going, right? And let's go to the last one from Box 2, which is what I think is the best take this whole time is gacha games are deceptive towards kids, but I don't care. Screw them kids. I don't even know them. And you see I commented right here, finally the voice of reason. Chat, I don't care that they're marketing towards kids. I don't give a f. I don't have any kids. Sure, if I had kids, then yeah, I would guess. I would be upset, but like I don't have any kids, so this is not something that matters to me. I'm just reporting on it because I feel like it's gonna matter to people. At the end of the day, does gacha need more regulations? Yeah, I would agree so, and especially because it would, you know, it would benefit us in the long run. Anything that benefits players, I think works. But I can see, and I do absolutely agree that gacha companies are predatory. Yes, that means Kuro Games. No, you're not getting away from here. Come here. You guys need to sit down. You guys are predatory as well. Every gacha company, all of them are predatory. There's no one that is excluded from that statement. If they weren't predatory, they wouldn't have gambling. You know, you see where I'm saying? You see where I'm coming from? Anyways, that's just what I really wanted to talk about today. At the end of the day, Genshin Impact being fined $20 million is like walking down the street and asking a guy for $1. You know, they're gonna give you the dollar just for you to fuck off. I think the rest of the implications will be more of a impact than $20 million to Genshin Impact. I just want to see how this develops. Chat, if you guys stayed tuned, comment, like, and subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subs. I would appreciate you guys' help on getting there. Anyways, chat, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one.